Greetings, Pastor Walter, Marissa, family, church family. Sure miss you folks. Pray you're safe under this virus that we have. Thank you, Pastor Walter, for asking me. I want to say a few words about preparing our children for the mission field. Very important that we prepare them for Christian service at least, but the mission field is the highest calling. I see it three main areas where we prepare our children. First, and probably the most basic and important, is in the home. There must be a strong foundation in the home. 2 Timothy 6:4 said, "Parents, bring your children up in the training and instruction of the Lord." Whether they're missionaries or not, that you must do. Children learn love at home. Faithfulness, Christian character, Christian discipline. These attributes are absolutely necessary for a happy life, for a Christian life, but particularly on the mission field. They need to learn the value of prayer and Bible study at home. They need to observe their parents, studying the Word and praying, especially in bad times when there's things we just don't know the answer for. Need to ask for guidance, wisdom. The children need to be a part of that. Our children need to observe their parents living by the teachings of the Lord, not just reading the Word and praying, but living by it. That's the most significant lesson they learn. Learn to be loving. They need to learn to love people. Let me tell you something. Sometimes people can be frustrating. But on the mission field, it's multiplied. We need to love people. That's the only reason we go, is for people. Because Jesus said so, of course, but it's because we love people. They need to learn the value of hard work and discipline, because being a missionary takes hard work and discipline. There's nothing easy about it. All these attributes are essential if we're going to train our children and prepare them to be missionaries, get out on the mission field. The second is preparation for missions, is strengthened in the local church. You don't do missions apart from the local church, folks. Some do, but it's tied to the local church in some way. Children learn to worship others with others at church. Vitally important. This is learned. We don't even realize they're learning it. They learn further be taught by the Word. It started in the home, but it's taught even more in the local church setting in Bible study. Children learn about the functioning of the body. They watch it happen, good and bad. Children are blessed by other strong Christians at church. This is one of the greatest things children learn at church that prepare them for Christian life, and particularly the mission field, is they get blessed by special Christian people at church. Think of Jesus. Mary, that faithful mother, and Joseph, his earthly father, took him to the temple at the appropriate time as prescribed the law. Look what he missed had he not gone to the temple. Had Mary not taken him to the temple, he would have missed Simeon, one of the greatest men in the Bible. Wasn't a priest, didn't have this big assignment, he wasn't in the temple. He was at the temple, but he didn't have an assigned place at the temple. But every day he would go looking for the consolation of Israel, faithful, praying, preparing to bless the Messiah. Picked him up in his arms that day and blessed him. He said, "Now I can go in peace. My life can come to an end. I've seen Jesus, the Messiah." What a blessing. And then added blessing was Anna, that great prophetess that spent her life at the temple, 40-some years after the death of her husband, all the time praying in preparation, and she announced Jesus and his ministry. Oh, get your kids to church. If nothing else, so they can be strong Christians, of course, and a happy life. But if they're going to be missionaries, they need that experience. Jesus announced his calling, or he really understood his calling better at the temple when he was 12. there amongst the great scholars of the day. He just kind of defined his ministry, I think, that day. Listen to me, Jesus tended the temple as an adult. There's some things going on at the temple he didn't like. In fact, one time he got a whip and whipped the people at the temple. Pastor Walter, I wouldn't suggest that. But he went. Church is not perfect. Don't expect to be perfect because you're there. And when I'm there, it really falls apart. So get your kids to church. There's too much they'll miss. They'll never be missionaries without that experience. Finally, opportunities for mission service come through the local church. I hear people say, "Brother, take me on the mission field. It sounds so romantic. Sounds so well." Is it really? Are you ready for the mission field? Are you ready for 40, 50, 60 hours in the air and waiting in airports? And get there in some little hotel somewhere and the food's terrible? And you have to dodge the government to get out there to preach the word. Are you ready to go to the mission field? I always go and ask the pastor, is this person faithful to the local church? Parents, see that your children are faithful to the local church. There's too much they will miss if they don't accustom themselves to going to the local church. The Apostle Paul was commissioned and sent out by the local church at Antioch. Peter and many others were sent out of the local church at Jerusalem. Mission support comes from the local church. Converts are ministered to by the local church. Missionaries go in and reach people, but they have to leave. We've left thousands, Brother Wayne and I, with the local church. That's the hope of their sanctification. They're set apart and grow like Jesus. I don't go too long here. Final word to parents. You want to prepare your children for the mission field? You must install into them a sense of the holy calling of God. Ephesians 4 said they are all that were there were told they were called 4 times in the first 3 verses. Read that. First 3 verses, the 4 times it mentions the calling. 2 Timothy 2:9. God has called us with a holy calling, everyone, according to his own purpose and grace, according to his purpose and grace. The Great Commission explains it all. The Apostle Paul was driven by the Great Commission. He couldn't go back. When the Spirit said, don't go left or don't go right, where could he go back? No, the Great Commission drove him forward. He went and got the Macedonian call. Aren't you glad? Jesus came with a purpose. I came to save that which was lost. He expects us to have a purpose as well. Parents, you do well to instill in your children a sense of calling and purpose. Start in the home, get them to church, and let them be sent out by the church, nurtured and strengthened and supported by the local church. That's my little message on how to prepare your children for the mission field. Thank you for the opportunity. Hope we can visit with you sometime. Just miss you so much. Take care, Pastor Walter, Mercia family. We love you. Love you all. In Jesus' name, thank you.